Hey guys, I'm learning TFT. In this video, we're going to go through a breakdown of the best comps by portal. I got this suggestion from N. Rui. He suggested that I do a breakdown of different portals and how that might influence your decision to take a certain comp. And there were 4 upvotes for this, so I definitely want to dive into this. Also, if you have suggestions for future videos, I love feedback like this as far as what you'd like me to focus on in my research, because that can both help me and help you learn in the process too. Before I dive into that, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to learn more effectively in TFT and in life. If you want to jump straight to the content, I'm going to include timestamps in the comments or in the description below. So this book is written by Stanislas Dehaene. I don't know if I pronounced that right. He's a French cognitive neuroscientist. And at the bottom here, there's some quotes I really like that are heavily influencing how I'm approaching these videos, my research process, and how I can improve getting better at learning TFT, which obviously helps me get better at the game, but can also help you figure out how to learn more effectively in life, in school, at work, whatever it is. So first thing he calls out is that learning occurs only if the brain pays attention, makes a prediction, and evaluates the accuracy of that prediction, so you get feedback. So there were studies done where when you do retrieval practice, which is basically a test, you pose a question and you are actively trying to test your memory to grab that information and compare it to what the actual correct answer is. And when you do that, it significantly improves long-term memory. So when you are able to generate hypotheses and then get objective, non-punitive feedback to correct yourself, that's the way your brain is able to most effectively store information. So to get information to long-term memory, it's essential to study the material, then test yourself rather than spend all your time studying. And experiments show that when you review and test at regular intervals instead of trying to do everything at once, you actually multiply your memory by a factor of 3. So as musicians know, 15 minutes of practice every day is better than one really long session. So having frequent shorter sessions helps let your brain know that this information is important, whereas if you're just doing a long session, it's not as effective. So this is also partly why the author is saying for finals or midterms in school, that model of learning and testing is less effective if your goal is to preserve information in the long run, which is why a lot of our traditional educational system is not really set up for actually learning stuff long term. It's more designed around short-term memorization and then letting that information go. So when we think about applying this to TFT, if your goal is to actually retain information and get better at it, it's, for example, if you're trying to get better at understanding the stats, instead of doing one giant session of like 2 hours, it's better actually to do like 10 or 15 minutes a day, just kind of skim through the information. Even more effectively than that is what I'm trying to do here in this video, is to practice retrieving the information instead of passively consuming it, and then comparing it to the actual results to get that immediate feedback to error correct yourself. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go into the data. I already collected the data here yesterday. I broke it down by portal, and the methodology was actually went in here, and if you click augments and portals, it'll actually show you the best portals as well as the place change based off of those portals. And so then I collected a giant list of that here. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna do this test active retrieval and comparison to the results error correction process. And that way I can talk out loud actively my thought process and see where I missed and got things wrong. And I suspect that that process can be more helpful to you than me just passively telling you why something's good, because I'm kind of being more active and actively criticizing the process. So frying pan, I am gonna just use the team builder here as a reference point So Frying Pan, you're gonna have all of these emblems. So probably Hunter Wukong. So Jinx Wukong is probably good here. I don't think Multis is gonna be that great. Mage is probably solid, but not amazing. Scholar is gonna be really good. So Scholar or Rise. Bastion can be good if you're playing on, like, you get Wandering Trainer with, because 8 Bastion can be really strong, but you usually don't want to make a Bastion emblem. Preserver emblem's not that great. Shapeshifter's really strong, so Shape Dragons and Warriors aren't that strong right now. So I would suspect those are going to be your primary ones. And I think anytime there's emblems, Arcana can also be good, though I think these are the main ones. Okay, so Scholar Rise is correct. 8 Bastion Flex I did not capture, though that frequency play rate's low, and I got this one. Jinx Wukong was the only one that wasn't included. All right, so I'm gonna say I got 67% on this. I mentioned the Bastion, but I didn't actually get. So test. This is my test. Okay. All right. Trainer golems. So trainer golems. Anytime you can play towards vertical traits, is going to be good. So Portal Rise is probably going to be good. Fairy Callista, so you can get 9 Fairy. Frost isn't as good lately. Let me just pull up this. 8 Witch is going to be good, so Witchcraft Rise. I think Hunter can be good too. Jinx Wukong. Getting 6 is really strong. Scholar Rise again. And possibly Shape Dragons. But I think the big ones are going to be the ones that take 2 emblems to hit their vertical caps. Those are going to be the ones that have the biggest impact, which I suspect are going to be these 3. Because Scholar Rise is going to be better when you can just get 1. Because otherwise, when everyone else gets 2 emblems, if they are able to access those, they can then outcap this. All right, so we have Bastion again, Portal Rise, Callista. I missed Frost and Eldritch, and Arcana Varus. So the reason that this is here is because we saw that this was very strong last patch and it got nerfed a bit. But when you have a lot of emblems, and I also talked about this in my trait tracker video, with a lot of emblems and more traits active, your Arcana Tahm Kench gives your team so much more HP, which can make a big difference. All right, so I missed Frost, and so I missed 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. So I got 20 or 33% right. One thing to note is that this 8 Bastion, if you get Bastion here with, and you can flex Bastion with Rise or Callista. So Rise because you already have Taric, and Callista because you have Lilia. I actually had a Lilia Fairy, or a Bastion Fairy trainer golem where I was able to get 8 Bastion with Callista online, and usually you want some type of scaling in the backline, because once you have 8 Bastion, your backline can't be damaged until 4 of your frontline units die. And so you get just so much time, and all your frontline is like basically unkillable. You get so much time for your backline to scale. So if you get Archangel on Rise, or you get Rageblade on Callista, this can be extremely strong. Of course, it's hard to get because you usually need to get to level 9 for this to work effectively, because you want to get Multi-Striker or like a Zoe in for Rise. But this, I believe this has one of the highest caps in the game if you just look at pure win rate. Yeah, like 21% win rate, and you can also flex with Xerath. So you can go with Xerath, Rise, Callista, lots of different options you could play towards. But this has one of the highest caps in the game if you're playing Trainer Golem. Especially if you get 2 emblems, that just makes it so much easier. Alright, so Trainer Golem's good. Spatula. So off the top of my head, Portal Rise again is basically all the same ones. Witchcraft Rise. Those 3. Oh, and I just looked at this and I missed Eldritch and Frost. I'm surprised Portal Rise is not higher. Maybe it's because it's contested. So if you're uncontested, I would suspect this would be higher. Yeah, because more people are going to play Witchcraft and Portal, so Rise is more contested. And I think I'm really underplaying the Eldritch and Frost lines when there are emblems, because those verticals are still solid. The main thing is you need to hit ahead of tempo. That was one thing I noticed in the stats from last patch is Frost especially was really quite strong last patch, but then fell off the map after the augments were nerfed, especially the Prismatic Frost Crown, when it went from a full item to just a component, which indicates that you really need that tempo for Frost to work well. But you might be able to get the right spot, since right now early game Frost is quite good. And Eldritch is quite solid too. So I missed 2, 4, 6. I got the same result. I missed Alright, so I need to pay more attention on Spatula and Trainer Golems to Eldritch and Frost. Alright, make them cook. So this is gonna be good with 2 possible emblems. This is gonna be a good on Arcana Rise, or not Arcana Rise, Arcana Varus, although it could be good on Arcana Rise, but Varus is gonna have more traits active. Make them cook. I believe this is good on Callista as well, because you can make a fairy emblem and a preserver emblem, which are both good. Scholar Rise, you can make a scholar emblem. And what do you do with the spatula? What do you do with the spatula with Rise? Witchcraft? I think Scholar Rise is probably still good, but not as good as Callista. Witchcraft? Oh yeah, Witchcraft Rise is going to be better than Scholar Rise, because you can make Witchcraft Emblem and Scholar Emblem. Is that right? You make a Witchcraft Emblem. Oh, and a Preserver? Yeah. Okay, I'm pretty comfortable with these. Any other meta comps that would be good? Would Shapeshifter's Dragons be good? So you can make a Shifter emblem. And then what do you do with the spat? Pyro? Yeah, that's pretty good. Shaped Dragons. What about Jinx Wukong? You can make a Hunter emblem. And what do you do with the spat? Nothing really great for that Hunter angle. Okay, I'm comfortable with this. Alright, so Arcana Varus gets a huge bump. I was surprised at Warwick reroll here. I mean, you typically need artifacts like Corrupt Vampiric Scepter for this to work. Though I've seen more challenger players just play this off of tempo, but you really need to hit ahead of tempo and have really good items to slam early so that Warwick can start stacking. But the Arcana value, so what would you make with this? You'd probably make, I think you'd make Frost Emblem and what, Preserver? Since you have Zillion? Yeah, that's probably right. And then you Arcana the Tom Kench so that you get more HP across all of your, or actually it could just be Hecarim, since that DR and AD is valuable for Warwick. Though because you're playing 6 Vanguard, the HP can also be good with the more emblems like we were talking about for TK. And then Fairy Callista is very strong. Make him cook Preserver Karma. Interesting. So you want probably Preserver emblem for the Pan and Witchcraft for the Spat. Okay, so I got Arcana Varus. I did not get Warwick reroll. So I got 50% of this, though I like made a lot more guesses. I don't know. I'm just going to say I'm like 33% right for this. I'm not making this too scientific. Okay, Radiant Blessing. Radiant Blessing rewards early game sacking. Wait, is Radiant Blessing the portals? Okay, I keep on getting Radiant Blessing and Radiant Item confused. At 40 player health, receive a blessing that contains powerful loot. So it rewards loot streaking. So Fairy Callista. For this one, you're basically looking for comps that have high cap out and can stabilize on stage 4. Because usually you're going to be sacking your early game. Hopefully going Econ Augment early. Or like playing, for example, Tiniest. The Prismatic Tiniest. Not the silver one, but that one's good. Fortune is good. So anything that plays towards a late cap out. I wonder if if you want to go so late cap out at level 8, because level 9 is a little bit too late and you can't bleed that much HP. I was gonna say Shifter of Dragons. So probably what, Scholar Rise, like basically the 2 best level 8 boards. I'm gonna guess. They'll bleed out, and they're not that great in stage 3. So for example, Jinx Wukong is pretty stable in stage 3 if you're able to hit them at 2 stars at like 3-5. Okay, I'll go with these 2. Arcana Varus. Okay, so I got Callista. Arcana Varus. My guess is because this Arcana Varus board is really not that great at level 8, but gets a huge spike at level 9. And particularly because you need Xerath. You get that extra Arcana in, which gives you a huge HP boost for your team. So being the first to access this and loot streaking lets you go 9 hopefully and stabilize. That's my best guess. By the way, if you have thoughts and comments while I'm doing this analysis that I'm not capturing, please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love for this to be more of a cooperative, almost like study session kind of feel in the comments where we can all kind of engage together. Oh, I did not look. Okay, I maybe saw Sugar at the top, but I did not see the other ones. All right, so yes, 6 Sugar. I'm going to put an asterisk here. I'm not going to give myself credit for that. All right, so this basically comes down to what are the best prismatics in the game. So, Mage, reroll. I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, but this, going back to the first part of this video, I am practicing active retrieval. I mean, let's think about the meta comps. Which ones have really good prismatics? I cannot even remember. Okay, let's look. I'm cheating a little bit. Augments, stats, augments, prismatic. Prismatic party is all of them. Okay, so let's just look at this. Yeah, so Mage has really good. Hunter Crown is really good. So Jinx Wukong. Reroll. Sugar's up here. Fairy Later is good. And Scholar. Yeah, Fairy still has the full item. A lot of these crowns lost the full item, but the ones that still have the full item are really still quite good. So like, let's say Frost only has a chain vest. Multi has glove. All right, so Scholar, Rise, Callista are probably still up here. Oh, Witchcraft, Rise. Okay. I think that covers it. Dark Alley Dealings is quite good on the Shapeshifter board or the Preserver Warriors board or Preserver Karma. Portal, not as great now because it only gives a tier. All right, let's go with this. All right, so I got Preserver Karma because I did mention that. So I got Mage Reroll. That was the only thing I got besides this one. So I got 20% right. Although these, so the other thing is that for Prismatic Party, this diff is not as strong as some of these ones. By the way, I bolded all the ones that have very big differences. So like this is half a placement in value, these two, whereas, you know, 6 Sugar is 0.16, which is not as big of a difference. And I didn't include anything under minus 0.1 just because it's a pretty small diff, and like variance and small sample size could heavily influence that. Champion Conference. This one gives you a champion that fits your team. So this is going to be better for verticals. So Portal, Rise. This is quite good on Shapeshifter Dragons because it'll give you Briar early. So anything that gives you your desired 5 cost is really good. So Callista. I think even Mage reroll should be good because you want that Nora. Scholar, getting the Milio. Anything that gives you your 5 cost early to round out your comp is really good. Okay, let's go with that. Cassidon, multi reroll. Oh, I missed that one. 7 Eldritch. Oh yeah, because I think I'm underestimating Eldritch if you're able to play with tempo and get your Briar online. Because this guarantees that you get the Briar and you get to 7 Eldritch. Let me look at Eldritch stats. Yeah, 7 Eldritch. It's not great, but it's solid. Okay, I missed all 3. No, I got Shapeshifter Dragon. I missed these 3, so I got 25%. This is not exactly right because I'm like guessing a lot here too that I missed. But this one's big because it lets you hit your, I believe if you already have 3 multis on stage 1 going into stage 2, if you can high roll that Cassidon instead of the Akali, that's great. And then stage 3 you can get a Hecarim, and then stage 4 you can get Callista, stage 5 you can get a Camille, which like all of those are just really good. The main thing is on stage 2 whether you can get the Cassidon over the Akali. So that actually makes a lot of sense. I should really be, especially if you dropped a sword. This is something that when I was watching Marcel's games, anytime he drops swords early game, there's like very few comps that take advantage of swords. Like if you look at all the meta comps, which is kind of like what I listed here, pretty much nobody wants sword. Like Callista does not want sword, Rise does not want sword, Mage doesn't really want sword. I mean, the Dragon's IE is solid, but you'd prefer to itemize like Shyvana early. I mean, it's okay with Dragons, but especially if you get dropped like BT, for example, Cassidon's, or like, especially swords. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you could go, you get sword BT, you could put it on Shyvana. But particularly for Cassidon, I need to pay more attention to this line on Champion Conference. That's good to know. Champion Conference, Cassidon reroll. Okay. Treasure Golems. So this is going to be good for reroll because usually when you have multiple 3 stars in the early game, you can't itemize them all. And so when you're on portals that, like for example, completed Anvil, loaded carousels, that give you more items, it is very beneficial to reroll comps. So I suspect a lot of the ones that are good here are going to be good for many of these item portals as well. So 1 cost mage reroll, 3 cost mage reroll, Jinx, Wukong. Although maybe not. So okay, so the other thing, the reason Jinx Wukong wouldn't be as good is you usually want to solo frontline your Wukong for stone plate value, and you want everyone to spin around him. And besides Wukong and Jinx, there's not that many other units that you really care about itemizing that well. So it's probably not as good on Jinx Wukong. What other reroll are there? Cast. Okay, so multi reroll. Yeah, what other reroll is there? it's mainly Mage and Jinx Wukong. Hui. No, I mean, there's not that many great carries. Okay, so it's just 3 cost mage reroll, which is actually a very sizable boost. I mean, mage reroll is already really good. I'm surprised this was not as high in the 1 cost mage reroll, though that could also be a sample size thing because not that many people pick treasure golems in the first place. Support Anvil. So both mage rerolls. I'm just gonna say mage reroll, especially if you get, what is that? Chalice is broken on mage. What other? Callista. So Fairy Callista. Moonstone is insane because you already want sustain, and if you have a Moonstone, it gives your Rakan even more sustain, which is crazy. Let's see, Rise. I think Chalice with Rise is pretty good too. You get that extra cast and okay, let's go with that. Mage reroll. Oh, I didn't think about multi reroll with Locket is really good. Sugarcraft, that's interesting. So you would expect portals that give you items to help Sugarcraft too. And then I also broke down which specific support items are especially strong with these. Okay, so I missed, let's say I got 50% on this one. Sugarcraft multi. All right, I need to be paying more attention to multi in Champion Conference and support Anvil. Completed Anvil should be mage reroll. Jinx Wukong reroll if you high roll the right items. Sugarcraft. Okay. I should be including Sugarcraft in all of these item ones. Component anvils. I forget if component anvils is the one that gives you, okay, 2 component. Anvil buffet is the one I believe that lets you select all, okay, all component anvils. All right. Oh no. All right. I was gonna put mage reroll. I'm gonna give myself credit for that one. And then Galio reroll if you get Deja Vu. That one's because you really want an early Rage Blade to tempo. Because if you can hit streak early with Galio and with a Rage Blade, which you usually can, it makes the game a lot easier to play. Loaded carousels gives you way more item components, so mage reroll again. And I'm not gonna miss 6 sugar this time. And of course 6 sugar's not there. Okay. Anvil buffet. So this is very good on portals where you need specific items. So Jinx Wukong, the Deja reroll. What else needs very specific items? Callista. Okay, those two. Yeah, these have huge spikes. But the thing is, when you're playing on this, I feel like most people know Jinx Wukong is strong, so you're more likely to be contested if you play towards those angles. Though if you're at lower elos and people don't know that, like this can be really strong on Anvil buffet. And of course Deja, very strong. Three cost champion. So anytime you can get a head start on your desired 3 cost reroll, so also mage reroll, you have Vex or Vagar. Hui, I don't think Hui in general is like strong enough as a meta comp. Yeah, those. Eldritch, interesting. So you're basically saying if you get a Mordekaiser out of an orb, that could be strong. Okay. So Eldritch and Frost, I think I just haven't played any Vertical Frost or Eldritch this patch, or even any Eldritch last patch. But it seems like if you can hit ahead of tempo, it could still be strong. Radiant item. So presumably this should also be good on reroll since you're amplifying a stronger unit. Jinx Wukong. And then probably is a function of also what radiant items are particularly strong. Yeah, so hunters. This will be good on Karma Preservers, Warriors, Shapeshifter, Blasters, or Dragons on Briar, Gunblade, Shojin. Yeah, these are gonna be more mage. All right, these two. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much lots of good options for 1 cost mage reroll. The other thing with 1 cost mage reroll is because you're mainly playing towards this if you hit an early 2-star, and mage in general is already such a strong early game that if you have a radiant item on them, you almost can get a guaranteed 5 streak early if you have the right setup. Like if you get an early Soraka 2, Seraphine 2, and like your Galio Rumble, that's like very, very strong early game. Treasure golems. Wait. Oh, unstable treasure chest. Did I mess up or did I duplicate this? Oh, wait. Okay, I duplicated this. Let me just make sure that's the same ones. Yeah. Tactician's crown. So this will be better probably for verticals, and what comes to mind is Arcana and Preserver. Arcana because getting more traits in, and as well as getting more Arcana in helps you with Tom Kench, and adding more Preservers in is always strong. So, and it also helps the comps that are much better with big spikes from level 8 to 9, or reroll comps that have like big inflection points early on while you are trying to reroll at a certain level. Does it help mage that much? Makes a pretty big difference for 1 cost mage reroll, since usually you want to play Rumble with the 3 mages. Well, it lets you do 5 mage at level 4, and if you take out the Rumble and you have Vex and Vagar. Yeah, maybe. I assume Arcana Varus is in here if the other ones had Varus. Any preserver lines, so Scholar Rise. Is that good on Kalista? Probably not. Okay, I'll go with these. Arcana Varus and Mage Reroll. Okay. Yeah, so anytime you have more unit slots, emblems, Arcana Varus is better, though I don't think Arcana Varus, like Varus is just that good in the first place. 4.74, so you're getting, this basically improves to 4.5, though the one that had a huge spike, what was it? Make 'em cook. Make 'em cook Arcana Varus minus 0.52 goes to like a 4.2-ish, which probably makes it worth playing. So make 'em cook Varus. But this probably isn't strong enough for it to be worth playing. Artifact Anvil. Warwick reroll. Mage reroll. Lots of good artifacts. Shapeshifter. Dragons. Hecarim reroll if you get, what was that, Silvermere Dawn? Where are the broken artifacts? Suspicious Trenchcoat is also quite good on Warriors, on Fiora. Alright, I'm pretty comfortable with this. Warwick reroll, Mage reroll, Hecarim reroll. Okay. And again, Hecarim reroll or Warwick reroll is starting to be played with more other artifacts, just as like a top 4 tempo play. And again, you have to really hit that ahead of tempo. Golden Finale. It's a gold augment on the last one. So Scholar Rise, really good with little buddies. Fairy Kalista, same thing. Kalista also has a lot of good final gold augments. And these are going to be probably same as Golden Gala. Okay, so I missed 7 Eldritch. Though you're not going to really target Eldritch on Golden Finale. You don't always really... Oh, Portal Rise over Scholar Rise. Okay, I mean, just Rise in general, because you have more outs. Little Buddies, Portal Crest if you're already holding Portal units, and then Magic Wand. So I'm going to give myself 50% here. Golden Gala. Okay, so I'm just going to say same. Just 7 Eldritch, okay. Item payout. Get gold when you make items. Good for tempo, which makes me lean Mage reroll since you want to slam those items. You get gold. That's good. It's good for tempo lines. So it's like what's strong early. Shape Dragons. I'm going to mainly say Mage reroll. Portal Rise. This could just be low sample size. There's doesn't make sense why this would stand out. Okay, plus it's like small diff. Prismatic Prelude goes back to the same as right, this one. Sugar Mage. What did I miss on this one? Sugar Mage Preserver Karma. This is just for the first one. 6 sugar. And then loot subscription. Sugar. Mage. I feel like it's a lot of the same stuff. Loot sub. Gives you more. What's good with a lot of emblems? Arcana. Bears. I mean, this could also just be good for like Portal and Fairy, but let's just go with this. Frost, Trigger, Witch. Oh, 0.3. Did I get that right? Maybe I mistyped that. Okay, yeah, 0.3 or 2.8. Okay, that's actually really strong. Okay, so I got 33%. All right, cool. So I'm gonna open all these up just so we can see which ones have the biggest differences. So Scholar Rise on Frying Pan, 8 Bastion Flex Portal Rise, Callista Frost Eldritch, 6 Witch Rise, Fairy Callista. I think this one's like really stands out. Make 'em cook Arcana Varus. This one also stands out, the Cassidon multi-reroll on Champion Conference. I suspect people don't really recognize this one with Treasure Golems. It should be good on the 1-cost version. Items are good for reroll. Anvil Buffet, good for Jinx Wukong, that's a standout one. We know Warwick. Okay, and then Loot Sub 6 Witch Rise. Cool, that covers all the portals. I want to say thank you again to your comments and suggestions that inspired me to make this video. If you have more thoughts, suggestions, analysis on this video that I missed, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.